After the death of Ishiki Otsutsuki, Kawaki was now free from ever being possessed by the celestial alien. However, due to the death of Kurama as well as Sasuke losing the Rinnegan, Amado concludes that Naruto or Sasuke probably wouldn't be able to take out Code. So he tempts Kawaki with power by offering to reconstruct his karma seal in the form of pure power, much like Code's white karma. The karma is a seal containing an Otsutsuki clan member's biological data and battle experience that they can bestow upon a proper recipient that we call vessels. Over time, the karma will overwrite the chosen vessel's genetic profile until they transform into the Otsutsuki who bestowed the seal. While the karma is extracting, the vessel can activate the karma and use the Otsutsuki's power and abilities to the degree of the amount of data that's been extracted at that point. If the Otsutsuki who bestowed the seal is no longer alive, they can temporarily manifest and take control of the vessel's body should the vessel run out of chakra. If the Otsutsuki happens to lose their life, their soul will migrate to one of their vessels and become linked to the world of the living. And when the karma completely finishes extracting all the data, that Otsutsuki will reincarnate through the vessel's body, completely replacing them. In Code's case, he was incompatible with being a vessel but survived the ritual and gained the white karma instead. White karma wielders cannot be used as a receptacle for an Otsutsuki's soul, nor are they capable of absorbing chakra like the true karma or even using space-time ninjutsu. The white karma is essentially just a power multiplier and serves as purely a weapon. So back to Kawaki. It was revealed at that point in the story that Boruto and Kawaki's karma were both extracted at about 80%. Amado explains in chapter 59 that since Kawaki's body remains Otsutsukified, he is technically still Ishiki's vessel, even though Ishiki's soul was extinguished, and he cannot possess Kawaki's body or reincarnate through Kawaki. While talking to Sumire, Amado likens the process of reconstructing Kawaki's karma to a house, with the karma being the door to the house and Ishiki's soul being the homeowner. With the extinguishment of Ishiki's soul, the karma, aka the door to the house, was gone, but the house remained, meaning the power could be accessed if a doorway was made. And since Ishiki's soul was extinguished, there would be no downside to making a door to access his dormant power. A lot of people find this mechanic pretty hard to understand, but I figured out a way of breaking down this process. Pokemon fans will love this breakdown, but a way to describe Amado's house comparison are the North American versions of the Generation 2 Pokemon games, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. In the Japanese versions of Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Celebi and the GS Ball event was programmed into the game, but for the North American versions, it was excluded. However, even though it was excluded from the North American games, the data for the GS Ball event and Celebi still remained in the game. It was just inaccessible. A way to access the event to get Celebi requires that you use a Game Shark or some kind of cheating device that will let you access the locked data. This is what Amado is trying to do with Kawaki. If we say that Ishiki is Celebi and Kawaki is the North American version of the Gen 2 Pokemon games in this instance, the data is still present in Kawaki, but he cannot access it due to the door being shut, which is the game developers deciding to close the door on Celebi on the North American games. So to access that data, Amado offers to open that door with no drawback. The door being his own Game Shark or Action Replay, so he can access Celebi/Ishiki's power. Back when Boruto chapter 59 came out, when Amado gave the house explanation, I immediately thought of the Gen 2 Pokemon games because the concept of having data present but not being able to access it had Pokemon fans in a frenzy back when Gold, Silver, and Crystal came out because we couldn't access Celebi without cheating. But people in Japan, it was already built into their game, so they didn't have to worry about anything. Also, this next part hasn't been confirmed, but I also think that this particular mechanic can also be tied to Boruto's Jougan as well. This is just a theory of mine, but I believe that Boruto had his Jougan from birth, but he wasn't able to activate it on his own because he was a human, and the Jougan's power cannot be utilized by a human, rather an Otsutsuki. Toneri briefly activated the Jougan for Boruto at the beginning of the story, but even he admitted that it was temporary and that it would be some time before a Jougan would be able to properly manifest. When Boruto died in his battle with Kawaki and Momoshiki resurrected Boruto, he was 100% Otsutsuki at that point, which I believe will play a huge role in Boruto utilizing the Jougan in the future of the story. In the chapters following Boruto's resurrection, Boruto and Momoshiki's thoughts start to overlap, and Momoshiki says this is due to a glitch in the karma, since Momoshiki's data had only extracted to about 82% at that point, and he had to give up on his own resurrection and use the remaining 18% of data to save Boruto. This glitch Momoshiki spoke of will be a very important factor in Boruto accessing the Jougan, because Boruto became 100% Otsutsuki through a glitch, meaning through the glitch he'll be able to access the Jougan. This mechanic also says a lot about the power dynamic between Kawaki and Boruto, because over the years, a lot of people that hate on the show and the manga say that Boruto was gifted all of his power and he didn't have to work for any of it, but that is far from the truth. Boruto was born with the Jougan, this is facts, but he can't access it instinctually, and Boruto's karma has Momoshiki's soul attached to it, while Kawaki never had to worry about Ishiki taking possession of his body, and always had instant access to Ishiki's power. And to add insult to injury, the fact that omnipotence put everything in Kawaki's favor as far as the two Karma brothers. I can't see how people can say that Boruto hadn't worked for his power. He literally has to work just twice as hard now that everybody's against him. Boruto has great genetics, don't get me wrong, but he learns after the Chunin exam arc that you have to train for your power and not look for shortcuts. But that'll be it for this video. If you want more content, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
俺は忍びだ。